Okay, let's try this again. Sorry about that. I forgot that I had my DLive, or not my DLive, but my Streamlabs running because I was trying to do a stream on DLive and there was technical difficulties to say the least. So I told some people that were over on DLive that I would come over here and do just a short, hopefully a short stream, not too long. Hi again, Aaron. Sorry about that. Hey, Purple. But yeah, so I had buffering issues on DLive for some reason. I'm not sure why. So I had it still running in the background, and that's why my mic kept getting muted when I tried to go live just a couple minutes ago, because you can't have them running both at the same time to use the mic. So I do apologize. Hey, John. Hello again. How's everyone doing? I keep looking down to make sure that my mic isn't muted. Okay, so I think I have it done. Sorry about the long pause. Oh, you were in there, Purple? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what's going on because it was on all the same settings that I've always had it on, and I don't know, it just kept saying trying to reconnect, trying to reconnect. So it may be something on Streamlabs end because I did try to go live on here with OBS Streamlabs right after I tried DLive, and it said I was live, but I didn't see on YouTube that I was live. So it could be on their end, but either way, it wasn't working. So um, I decided to come over here and talk to you guys a little bit about my videos that I just put out. Or I'm going to try to anyways, because although you know, I want to do lives on both, but again, they sound like a broken record, but it's just so difficult to even get a point across to you guys without having to worry um, about what I'm saying or if I'm going to, get in trouble. It sounds so get in trouble like I'm, 10 years old or something, but I mean, it's true. So it's difficult for me and I'm sure it doesn't make it a very all around good experience for you guys when I'm constantly pausing and stumbling my words and trying to figure out a different word to replace for another word. And I've already done that with actually a lot of things, but I don't want to have to replace every single word. Like I'm not a thesaurus. So, hey, James. And I'm going to try to, which I just tried to do, but I'm going to try and go into my app and just minimize StreamYard. What am I on? Yeah, StreamYard. Like use all these different ones so I don't even know what I'm using at the time. So that I can see the chat. Actually, it should be, let me see. I don't know if StreamYard chat's going to be delayed or not because I'm using my phone. But either way, I'm going to try to go into the app and see the chat there. That way we don't have a delay, hopefully. But we'll see. We shall see. Oh, John, are you, wait, who, remind me again who is advocate for Dieter? Is that you, John? Yeah, John, they can actually, like, if you're in the middle of a live stream and you break any of the community guidelines. You guys can still hear me, right? Now you can. Wait. Okay, so, okay. How long did you guys not hear me for? Like a couple seconds or like a couple minutes? Like, did you hear any of my answer to John's question about the live stream algorithms? I was gone for a couple of minutes. Oh, okay. So apparently I cannot close out of or minimize StreamYard. Okay, so to answer your question, if you guys can still hear me, again, I don't know which part you guys heard, but in a nutshell, you have to be more careful about what you say on live streams compared to putting it in a video per se. So, especially with something with, like, for example, copyright. So if I were to play like a music video, like a full music video right now, they would most likely take well, then again, I don't know. I don't know if somebody has to like flag you. So maybe this is the best question to ask me. um, I've just seen it happen before. I've seen um, someone in the middle of their live stream get taken down before it was over. So, and that, I think it had to do with either copyright, or I don't know if somebody actually has to like flag the other person who's doing the live stream for copyright, or if the algorithms pick it up. But I just know that you just have to be careful, more careful about what you say and do on live streams. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's out. Like Aaron said, it's algorithms. So Yeah, Big Brother, right. So, John, you're somewhat new. How long have you been following the case? Hey, DBK. Thanks for switching platforms. Aaron, who's Montegraph? I'm not familiar with that channel. It feels like ages, John. I could see that. But you don't know when you started following? Oh, that um did it happen to be a purple butterfly? Just kidding. Oh, he is. He's like Brian at High Impact Flicks. That's cool. Um, yeah, I'll have to check him out. Enough time, John says. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely messed up, John, that's for sure. Oh, John, you got your message hidden by purple because you gotta watch your mouth a little bit. Gotta be censored here, I guess. I don't know. I don't care if people curse purple. I mean, shit's okay, but it's preferred not. Like what I usually do if I have to like get a point across, um, or to like show in text that, oh, you're fine, John. Um, and yeah, purple, you're good too. But thank you. Um, I usually just put like some sort of symbol, like I'll do S and then the asterisk and then like a pound sign and then T. I don't know. I like so I can show that I'm trying to get a point across, but then still be um, you know, safe. Hey, Bill. I'll just wait for and see if there's a couple more people that come in, and then we'll go ahead and get started so that we don't waste any more time here. And that'll give me a couple more minutes to think of how I'm going to address these last two videos in more detail without, again, breaking the guidelines. DBK, has anyone seen the new season of AHS? I started watching Ratchet, and there's a whole lot of symbolism on that too. Yeah, well, that I believe that because, well, actually, I've watched some of the show, but for some reason, I don't stopped watching it. Um, but yeah, it's a good show. The producers of American Horror Story I mean, it's a good show. I wouldn't say, I mean, it's not like, even if I saw the show out and I didn't know about the Chris Watts case, I think it's a good show, but it's not anything that I go around saying, you gotta watch American Horror Story. You just gotta watch it. It's not something that I would be going to my TV like right away or having a marathon with, but hey, Fulham, is it ham or like ham? Like 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 a ham dinner? Full ham. It's probably ham. Just let me know because I hate when I say people's names wrong. Um, oh, good, John. You started watching my American Horror videos. Yeah, they definitely don't do it justice. Like if you have to, I mean, they're still shocking, But when you watch the entire show from like start to finish and you know this case, like if you read the discovery and you know all those details, even if you haven't done that, it still follows the Watts narrative like to a T. So, but if you especially have looked into the discovery and just some of it, it's pretty shocking to say the least. But like I was saying, the American Horror Story is a good show, but it's not, again, anything that I'm going to be raving about. The only reason why I keep asking you guys and telling you how important it is to go watch it is because of the connections, not because I'm getting paid by them or for promoting the show. Hey Ninja. Hey Karma Lily. Um, but the way that they do it, the show, and the way they, I mean, they're good. The producers are good. Ryan Murphy and Brad Falchuk. And so I'm not surprised that Ratchet has symbolism in it as well. Hey Moonchild. Hey Luann. Is it Luann? See, like I always like, is it Luann or is it Luann? It's always two different ones, but I'm always saying hi to you guys like when I'm not live in the chat, so it's you don't have to worry about pronouncing everybody's names wrong. But I will get the hang of it. I promise. But yeah, DBK, exactly like the Simpsons. It's funny. Speaking of oh no, it wasn't the Simpsons, but the Family Guy parody that I did of Kessinger. I'm almost certain that that's. I mean, it just seems like it's predictive programming for and oh god, okay, see it. I don't think I'm supposed to say that. So sorry, YouTube, if you're listening, algorithms. Um, that's a iffy couple of words I just said. But anyway, moving on. Nothing. I didn't say anything. What are you talking about? Can somebody go back and bleep that out? No, I'm just kidding. Um, but the Family Guy parody that I made of Kessinger, it fits her like perfect. Just I should play it, but I can't because I'm not on my computer and I don't know how to share the screen on StreamYard mobile from the phone. So, well, I could try. Hopefully, we don't get disconnected. Because there is an option to change the layout. However, it doesn't do anything when I press it. So, go back to that. Go back to the chat. Somehow. I don't know how. Comments. Okay. But so anyway, the Family Guy parody, Brian starts dating this new girl, and she just is not the smartest, lady person in the world, and so Stewie is giving Brian a hard time about it, and just saying, because she's pretty, but Brian won't like introduce her to anybody, or because he's kind of embarrassed of how like spacey she is and not so bright. And then Stewie finally meets her, and he's like, oh my god, Brian. He's like, she's gorgeous. But I don't know what that Stewie voice was. Anyway, um, and just how he's like, what do you guys talk about before Stewie met him? He goes, what do you guys talk about? He's like, Brian goes, I don't know, food. And if you follow this case, you know about how Kessinger and Chris, or Kessinger claimed that her and Chris were always talking about the macros and eating healthy and food. And it seems like they, in the text messages that were recovered, as she says, they were talking about food and chicken and carrots and tacos and whatever else they ate. Like, it matters. I don't know why they wanted to tell us all this food that they ate. Like that's important. But so anyway, so he's like, "What are you guys talking about?" And Brian says, we talk about a lot of stuff." He's like what? Food. You know what? It doesn't matter. I don't know. Anyways, it's just funny. But and then and then he goes at Stewie at the beginning he goes, oh, I know. He goes, I know why you don't want to introduce, because she's UGLY. She ain't got no alibi. She ugly. So her whole alibi thing. Anyway, it just seems like completely perfect for it. And we know how Family Guy and The Simpsons are always predicting events. So anyway, that was weird. Hey, Forrest. Thanks for being here. Hey, Renee. Okay, so when I was on DLive trying to stream, I was going to not play the entire videos over again, but I was going to kind of just stop them and stop and play, so I could kind of go into a little bit more details about them. However, I'm not going to be able to do that here, unfortunately. So we might just have to play it by ear, but I probably will keep this short because I don't want to waste anybody's time. Because I don't really have, I mean, unless I can talk about them in like more depth into, or more detail about my videos that I just put out, then it's kind of pointless being here, even though I love you guys all being here. Hey, Dave. So I guess I can try to attempt to go into more detail, but I just don't see how it's going to work. Like, it's just, and I know this sounds crazy probably to you guys. Like, why can't she just say it? Why can't she just say what she wants to say? But I mean, I literally cannot. Yeah, Renee, I saw that too. That's interesting. Carmelly, that's good. I do as well. Oh, did she? Okay, well, I guess we can. I mean, I didn't really want to go into that, talking about that channel on here. Not that, I mean, it's not like someone can't go over to DLive and then hear what I'm saying over there and then relay the information back over here. But I'd just rather not put it all out here where there's like a bigger community than over to DLive, to where I only have a little a certain amount of people following me, and then there's not really that many true crime people over there to begin with. So I'm probably the only person on DLive talking about the Chris Watts case. So hi, Kitty. I didn't even know that they had access to emails. Do they in prison? I mean, I guess they could. I guess if it's just, oh, that's, I think someone did say that they don't have actual internet per se. They only have access to just sending and receiving emails, which I'm sorry, but I don't even think that anyone who's in for that sort of crime, not just Chris, but anybody, I don't think they should have any perks, to be honest with you. I mean, call me inhumane, but yeah, Moonchild, that's true. It used to be a free speech platform, but it's not. And I understand that it's obviously everything is not going to, you can't have free speech for everything. Like, I mean, you can't, there are some things that people should not say or talk about. But, um, I mean, when we're talking about like threats or, just like straight up like hate speech, like what I'm talking about and, trying to relate to all of you guys is not by all means hate speech. So at this point, in my opinion, they should just make a whole new category for um, for the guidelines for what I and as well as other people are talking about or trying to talk about, but you can't because I just don't understand how that falls under hate speech. So let me just think about that for a second if I want to even talk about that over here. I mean, I know I did make a video about it, but I still tried to do it without like doxing or um because over here you guys will know what I'm talking about when like, when I'm if I'm not completely clear on everything because you guys are here every day and you guys know what's going on. So and I'm not I'm you guys know me. I don't ever hardly talk about other channels in a negative way. It's just not worth it to me. The the negativity and whatever. I'm just focused on I whatever they do is what they do, even if I don't agree with what they're doing. A few of them I definitely don't agree at all, and they are only pretty much every time they come out with a video or do a live stream, they're pretty much setting me back like to ground zero again. Because I feel like right when I start to, get through to some of you guys, I feel like it's just like, yeah, all over again. So, but I just, it's just not the people that are gonna want to hear what I have to say are gonna, hear what I have to say, and I don't have to worry about, I shouldn't have to worry about other channels. So, um, and again, talking about them is not going to do anything but prevent me from getting the truth out there. So again, I just think it's pointless. Let me look at the chat really quick. There's actually a show that I was watching, or a documentary or something, and it was about the different, a few different prisons, all in different countries. And oh, I'm sorry, Luann, you asked about DLive. Yeah, DLive is I don't have Twitch. I've heard about it. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Twitch, but DLive is another streaming platform, and it was originally, or it's still, I mean, it was originally started for like gamers, so people who want to um like share their games while they're playing, while they're like, and live stream their games. It's a gamer thing. I'm not really sure, but um a lot of people like that talk about the kind of stuff I'm trying to talk about. They went over to DLive because of the censorship here. So what was it all pretty much gaming, which most of it still is, it's now turned into partially I mean there's different, it's not just like two different categories, but it's growing as we speak, but it's not as censored over there, and it's just, I guess, just another backup for the channels on here if their channels end up getting taken down, or they'll go to BitChute. I've tried BitChute, and I don't like how it's set up. I don't like it doesn't seem, I just didn't like it. I mean, I might try it again, but although DLive takes a little bit of getting used to, and they both have their ups and downs, like YouTube and DLive, but yeah, I just didn't like BitChute. And I think I tried to kind of wrangle over a couple of you guys over to BitChute, and it didn't really work. But that was like a while ago, and I don't know, maybe it was just like frustrating, and I didn't want to start from zero again. But again, DLive and YouTube has, they're both streaming, platforms, but they're different. A lot of it is different, so it takes some getting used to. But I do like it over there because, and I've mentioned this before, I can, for the time being, I don't know um how long it's going to be until they start censoring everyone over there as well. I mean, it it's probably going to happen. So I don't know that, but it probably will. Um, so I want to use the time that I can to my advantage and be able to speak freely and not have to worry about everything I say. Oh, Dorothy, see, you did. Yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to, and I have no problem over there just doing like test streams, and I mean, I'm still learning it, so I can tell you guys as much as I know so far. But like one difference is you have to have a like certain amount of, they're called followers over there instead of subscribers. Um, so you follow them instead of subscribe. But then you also have on DLive, you can subscribe, and that's what, like a monthly subscription, and that's what you pay for essentially. Where on YouTube you would subscribe just to follow them, a creator, and then you would pay the membership. So the membership here is like the subscription over on DLive. So without trying to confuse you guys or without being confusing about it, that's like one difference. But then another difference is you can't upload actual videos over there. I think you can, but I think you have to have a certain amount of followers. So as of now, obviously, I can't just upload my video that over there that I um, posted today on here. Another difference is they can live stream over there, but the streams only stay up for 3 days instead of forever. Now I can download it if I want to, and I can post it on here, but then I would have to either still censor myself over there in order to post it over here, or I would have to just edit like a bunch of stuff out, and it would just be spliced, and it would just be a pain in the butt. So, and then there's some other stuff too, but once you get used to it, it's actually really fun over there because you can it's silly, but they have things called stickers, and they're like little like gifs, um and they're like, obviously moving, and so people will post those in there, like anything from like that weird frog guy, I don't remember his name, but like that meme cartoon frog guy, to dancing chickens, to I don't know, anything. Like, so people can post that in the chat. Some streamers will actually turn that option off, but I actually like them because I just think they're funny. So, and then one more thing on DLive, like, so right now you guys the chat's open because I'm streaming. Well, on my channel on DLive, you can go over to my channel anytime, and you guys can chat like on my channel. So for instance, after I said I was going to DLive, after I posted that short video, there were a few people over there waiting for me to start streaming, and so they were just having a conversation waiting for me to start. Like, well, I guess it's kind of like over here, because if you schedule a live stream, then you guys can do that. But without me having to actually schedule one over there, you guys can just go on my channel and just like have a conversation with yourselves if you wanted to, without having to like schedule anything, if that makes sense. Hey, Joe Dane. Joe Dane. See, I can't even say it. Doe Jane. That's a tongue twister. I'm gonna have to say that slower next time. Hey, Jen. So I know it's like a pain in the butt to sign up for another account, like on another platform, when we always have like so many other ones, and to get used to, and everything being new. And I know it's a pain in the butt, and I hate asking you guys to go over there, because I mean, it is a lot easier over here just because I'm used to it, and you guys are all over here. So, hey, Adelina. But again, if you guys want to hear me explain my theory more and in more detail, again, without talking in code, pausing every 2 seconds, trying to figure out different words to use, I would definitely recommend at least trying to go over to DLive and at least try it out. Yeah, it's free, Rosemary. Hello, by the way. Renee, blueberries. What about blueberries? Well, ooh, blueberries. Which is funny because I never liked fresh blueberries. Like, I like blueberry muffins. And, well, that's about it for blueberry. Well, I mean, unless it's like in a smoothie or something. But I never liked fresh blueberries, and now they're actually pretty good. Except I get them for the chickens because my one chicken, Sweet Pea, she loves blueberries. Like, she scarfs them down. The other chickens, like, they'll eat them, but she really loves blueberries. And they actually, this is kind of gross, but they actually, like, their poop turns like, it's actually like the color of a fresh blueberry. But however, so it's weird because it's like all that color. I don't know why I'm talking to you about my chicken's poop right now, but anyway, why not? Since I'm not allowed to talk about anything else, I might not even be allowed to talk about this. We'll find out. Um, it's funny, but it's not funny. But the blueberries actually make the chicken droppings. I'll say droppings, not poop. Poop's such a funny word. The chicken droppings, they don't smell bad because it smells like blueberries. Not that I like, okay, let me just make this clear. Not that I get down and smell chicken poop, but I'm just saying you could obviously, it's a very potent thing. So, but anyway, so just a little interesting fact there. DBK, your dogs love blueberries? Oh, that's funny. Oh, poor Renee. Are you having? She has all these different blueberry spellings here. She's having typo issues. I feel you there, Renee. I know how that goes. Like I was on a live stream on someone else's live stream on DLive earlier, and Brian's actually high impact flicks that I usually talk about or mention, and he was talking about doing something funny about the virus thing, and he said something about how his girlfriend won't do it, and it was to record him. He was just joking around, but he was to record him, and I said in the chat, and I was like, "Oh, come here." I was like, I don't care. I was like, "I'll record for you. I'll be the camera person." And but I said, "Oh, if you come here, I said I'll do," and it said KY, but I didn't, of course, and I always try to remember to like read my comments before I send them, but um obviously sometimes I don't. So it said I'll do KY, like KY, like the, you guys know what I'm getting at. But yeah, I was like, oh my God, I just said I'll do KY. Like hopefully like everyone's mind doesn't go where my mind goes, but I don't know why my keyboard got KY out of it. So obviously my predictive text is not very good. It's annoying. And then it'll capitalize words when I don't want them capitalized. For instance, like I'll say, like what Renee was just talking about, blueberries. I'll say, type out, try to put blueberries, and it'll make it capitalized, and then I'll send it, and then people are probably like, why is Megan capitalizing? Why'd she capitalize blueberries? Like, why is that so important? What's the thing with blueberries? It's just an example, but anyways, probably shouldn't do like it's not that late, but I probably shouldn't do these later live streams because I get goofy. Okay, I saw a question about why we can't talk about the case. So let me see. Yeah, I feel like I need to just reset my whole like predictive text because it's annoying. Okay, so okay, where was that comment? Where was it at? I mean, I saw most of it, but prison poop equals letters from Christopher. Yeah, exactly, John. Hi, Crystal Clear. Sorry, I saw you come in and I meant to say hi to you. Hey, Cynthia Ann. Wait. Okay, Dorothy and Forrest. What show are you guys talking about? I think I know what you guys are talking about. Talking about that one case that when it was on uh was it on what's that guy's name? God, I can't even think of it. The one that had all the crazy people on his show. Jerry Springer. My gosh. Is that the one you guys are talking about? Forrest and Dorothy? Okay, never mind. Wrong. No, I don't think that's the same one you guys are talking about. Never mind. Um, oh, and then another one recently, I was on someone else's DLive stream, and I said, "Okay, I gotta take off," but oh no, I was on here, and I said, "I gotta take off. I'm gonna go embarrass my." Well, I meant to say I'm gonna go embarrass myself on DLive, but it said embrace. So I said, okay, I have to take off now. I'm gonna go embrace myself on DLive. And I'm like, oh my gosh, really? Like embrace? I'm gonna go embrace myself on DLive. No, it's supposed to say embarrass. But I'm still looking for that question. If whoever's question that was, can you please repost it about why we can't, something along the lines of why we can't talk about the case? Hey, Chadwick. Sorry, I just scrolled up and saw you came in. I don't know. I don't know where it went. Oh, okay. Well, maybe it was yours, Dorothy. What was Megan trying to discuss that is an issue on YouTube? And see, that's a good question, but I can't answer it. So maybe someone, Forrest, if you can answer Dorothy's question, maybe in the chat, even though there's algorithms are still keeping track of what people say in the chats, but it's safer, I guess, if you say it in the chat compared to if I say it. Everybody's still talking about blueberries. No. Um, okay, yeah. So thank you, Renee. Renee just answered Dorothy's question in the chat. And I'll type out, isn't this terrible? I'm like, okay, now I'll type out Dorothy's question since I can't say it. Um, and I was going to go to, in a different live, I was going to show you guys the actual guidelines. But if you guys have time, go and look under hate speech under the YouTube guidelines, and you'll see specific things that you can't say, obviously, or talk about. And one of those things that I'm trying to talk about is actually in those guidelines. And they also, not only that, they give an example, like to the T, of like what I'm trying to portray. So yeah, so it's a guideline, and they actually use a specific example in the guidelines. So I mean, and I've found ways to say other things, but for the most part, the one example that is mentioned in there, there's pretty much no going around it or getting around it. Is it buffering again? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. There shouldn't be any buffering because I'm on my phone. Oh, Forrest, it's okay. I was just gonna ask you to if you would answer Dorothy's question, but Renee answered it about the PSYOP thing. So how far are we into this? Like, so we're almost an hour in, and I have talked about nothing, and I apologize. Um, and I would like to get on here and do more of these live streams, but I just don't because I know that they're going to end up like this pretty much, and I'm just going to be talking in circles and end up talking about blueberry chicken poop. So, and some may find that interesting, some may not, but I know that you guys are specifically here to hear me talk about Chris Watts. So, oh, Purple, it's okay. I appreciate it. Thank you for being safe about it. And if I didn't like work my butt off to get the 15 little over 1,500 subscribers that I do have, and that I am thankful for, I wouldn't care. I would say screw it. I'm just going to say whatever I want to say. I'm just going to say what I want to say, and if they take my channel down, then oh well. But again, I don't want to start all over again. So is it still buffering? Is the audio still buffering? Um, hey Sky. So yeah, I mean, I would love to just come out and just say this is what it is, and like, I mean, to a sense, because again, I for the first like year or so, I wasn't as transparent as I should have been, and I mentioned this before in another live, but um, I go back and forth. Because I always think, well, I mean, because I knew what was going on with this case a long time ago, like not right away again, but and my theories never changed. I've gone back and forth about a couple of things, but um, those wouldn't, they still wouldn't change my theory. So um, I go back and forth about, should I have been more transparent right away? Should I just came out and just been blunt about it and said, this is what it is? Um, and, because the more further along that we get, it's like you're going to be more, everyone's going to be more and more invested in it, and I feel like it's going to be even more, it's going to be harder to not necessarily convince, I don't like to say like prove or convince, but to show you guys like what's going on when we're going in over 2 years now, and everyone is heavily like invested in this case, and for most of the people probably the same reasons, but So I don't know. I'm like, well, maybe I should have been more transparent. I should have been upfront about it. But then I feel like I've seen with like other bigger channels, like, or truth channels, I guess. I've seen them kind of just, put it out there and just say this is what it is. But I've seen a lot of people not react the best way, especially people who aren't aware of these events and who like don't know anything about them pretty much. Like there's some people that um, follow me that have said that they've never even heard about these types of events before. And I hope you know what I mean when I say events, because I can't say it. Um, Renee mentioned it a little bit ago in the chat. Um, so I've just noticed that a lot of people will, again, if they're not familiar with it or they've never heard of it, or know nothing about it, a lot of people will immediately get on the defense, they'll and feel attacked almost. So I kind of wanted to, not only because I wanted to be respectful to people and to you guys, but, and I hate saying people. I'm going to try not to say that to people because you guys aren't just people. Um, it doesn't sound right. But anyway, I didn't want to be disrespectful to anyone affected by the case. And you guys, if you follow me, you know that. I've said that like so many times. But I got to the point where I finally was just like, okay, I gotta, I can't please everyone. If I'm gonna do what I, set out to do and to get the truth out there, and or if not even the entire truth, at least get you guys to, to at least open eyes and, get people to think about, just think, obviously think for themselves. And like I always say at the end of my videos, because it's so important, especially these days, because there's just so much corruption and there's so much, like terrible people out there. Let's just say that are, it seems nowadays they're just always doing something for their benefit. They're always, and not everybody, obviously, there's still good people out there, but um, someone's either trying to push an agenda or they're gaining something from it. Um, so the ones that are truthful and are doing it for the right reasons, they're going to be hard to find. Let's just say that, especially if there's money involved, and that'll make people do things that they wouldn't normally do. And when I say that, I'm talking, it could be something small or big. It just depends. But so I think that it was probably a good thing that I wasn't as transparent at first, but because again, I've seen it happen, and people get closed off. They feel immediately attacked, like um, when you just throw something, especially when they have one belief. The whole cognitive dissonance thing is well, it's a bitch. Let's just say that. That's the only way to describe it off the top of my head, because cognitive dissonance is going to play a huge factor for a lot of people. And I think we all do or have had cognitive dissonance at some point in our lifetime for different reasons. It happens. But so, like I was saying before, I had to either choose to be respectful and not hurt feelings, or get the truth out there. I had to pick one or the other, and so I picked getting the truth out there. And I still don't want to offend anybody. That's not my intentions. And I know that a few of my viewers have said that I don't need to like worry about others and their feelings, because, or I don't need to reiterate it every single time I'm doing a live or something. But I just want, I do want people to know that that's not my intentions. I don't have any other motives besides the fact that I don't want you guys to be lied to anymore, and to go the rest of your lives like, and some people might be okay with that. Some people might be fine. They like to be safe. They like to be safe in their, safe bubble per se, which I don't even know why you're in like a safe bubble, because bubbles aren't even that like secure. Anyways, um that's a whole nother thing. Uh but they like to be safe. They don't want to know that there's corruption and there's um bad people in this world, but unfortunately there is, and there's a lot of them. And I just don't. We at this point in time, and I know it sounds cheesy, but we have to stick together, and we can't be like, you know having division and stuff, because that's what they want. And I hope when I say they, I hope you all know who I'm talking about. um but the powers that be, that's what they want. They want division. They want us distracted all the time. They don't want us thinking logically. They want us thinking with our emotions. They don't want us to have like unity, because if we have unity and we stick together, we outnumber them. But if there's always like, left and right, like division, and there's racial division, and there's like, I mean, people in this case are arguing about which family, the Watts or the Ruseks, is better or or worse, like, and who deserves to be a victim more. Like, that's not something that we need to be. Well, I'm not, but because I refuse. I'm not going to do that for two families that I've never met in my life, victim or no victim. I'm sorry, but um, anyway, we shouldn't be arguing. People shouldn't be arguing about these families going on 2 years now. We should be spending our time concentrating on things that like actually matter. And yes, I get it. Like, if they truly are like victims, deserve to be, advocated for. I understand that. But again, there's so many other victims out there. Or, oh God, my voice is cracking, so that means I'm gonna have to end this soon. That's the sign. There's so many other like people out there, and innocent people that die every single day, and nobody's advocating for them. Or if they are, they're not being heard, because they're not they weren't a high profile case, or um, their case wasn't mainstream, but they deserve just as much, um, their memories kept alive just as much as anybody else does. So they want people to be distracted. They want people fighting. They don't want us to be working together. They don't want us, again, in unity. They want to keep us distracted because they don't want us to see what is going on while we're distracted. So whether it be passing some sort of law right underneath our noses, or pushing their agenda. Like, so this whole time while everyone's arguing on social media about which family is better, or which one's deserves to be the victim more, or whatever, like, we're going to wake up one day and either our free speech is going to be gone, or and everyone's going to go, wait, what happened? Like, what do you mean? Like, we can't talk about cases anymore on social media? Like, we were just able to talk about it yesterday. What do you mean they passed a law saying that we can't discuss murder victims anymore? Like, but it's going to happen, and it's happened before. So whether it be, a gun law that they take away, or free speech, and maybe they don't take away all of it, like, just by this case, but maybe, maybe it's they take away a little bit with this case, and then let's say with, for example, that Alexis Starkey case, that the woman that just social media, the um, chick that was found just recently dead. So what if people, like, hop onto that, and it gets the widespread media attention, and everyone's, and then maybe they take away something else, a little piece of our free speech for that. So if they may not do it all, like, right, all at the same time, but a little bit at a time, again, we're gonna wake up one day and you're not gonna have like any freedoms left. And I know that sounds like extreme, but it's true. And if hey, Miss Mensa, and Ludily, did I say hi to you earlier? If I didn't, I'm sorry. Hello. Um, if people don't start waking up, and again, I hate saying people, like, it's like, it just sounds rude. I don't know. It sounds like you people, but I don't mean it that way. So please don't take it that way. But if people don't start waking up, like, that's gonna happen. And again, that may sound extreme, but I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. They are already censoring, and again, not just free speech. Um, we're not gonna have any, freedoms left, because they're essentially trying to take away a little bit each time. Like, so maybe first it's um, bump stocks off of guns. And then what's next? Then they take away hunting rifles, and then they take away, so gradually over time, it's going to happen. And if we keep being distracted by things like deciding which team, if you're Team Watts or Team Rusak, or concentrating on one case, and then I get it. I mean, I get why you guys are all here, because it is a fascinating case. And I mean, I guess that's what the true crime community is all about, is talking about and discussing cases. Um, and of course, you have all the inconsistencies in this case. So I totally get why we're all still here. But that is the psychological one of the psychological aspects of this case, and that's why everyone is so hooked on it, because the people that control the narrative, they know what they're doing, and they're experts at it. They know what triggers people. They know what's going to keep our attention. They know that if they put out a discovery that with a bunch of inconsistencies, that we're all going to dive down the rabbit hole, and we might not find our way back out. Like, they know that. They know that's what they do. They've been doing it for years and years. So they know what is going to um, pull at heartstrings and get people emotionally attached to the case, and know what's going to keep people interested in the case, come out with new information, like right when the case starts to die down. You guys know that new information always comes out, and it's not just in this case, it's other cases that I've seen. Um, Renee, yeah, I would like to discuss the Delphi case. I did a live stream, and um, some of the girls were telling me about it, because I don't think I had ever. I think I heard a little bit about it when it happened, but yeah, I would love to discuss that case. Okay, sorry, I just got off on a rant there, and then of course when I get on rants, I ignore the chat. I don't mean to. I apologize. I'm just trying to figure out a way to not waste everybody's time on this live stream, since I wasted the first hour. Um, so to at least make something productive out of it. Let me see here. Yeah, that's true, Miss Mensa. Yeah, maybe the new laws should be to outlaw the MLMs who claim they're not pyramid. Oh, and I will tell you guys right now, before you get emotionally, like, I mean, I know it's easier said than done, obviously, but try not to let these cases, like, I know that they come off horrific, or they are horrific, but that's done on purpose. And I would like to go into a little bit more detail about that, but I can't. So for example, I heard about the Sharky case, and I was watching Zav Girls live, and there's things that I picked up on that are similar to this case. Um, Sorry about the train. It's like no avoiding it. So there's, without going into like the details that are found or noticed, do me a favor, and before you just humor me, before, if you haven't, if you aren't already like emotionally attached to that case. And the thing is with these, before I get into that, some of these cases are going to affect or work better than others, because just depending on how it's, the narrative is, like, people are going to get hooked on some murder cases compared more than others, because it just, I mean, it's trial and error, even though they do know what they're doing. Like, it just, I guess it just all depends on the circumstance. But so I don't know how popular that case is yet with this with the Alexis Sharkey. Um, but if you can, try not to let your emotions get in the way, and just keep your eye open on that case. And I do want to cover that. And again, it's still early in the case. I haven't had a chance to really like go down that rabbit hole yet or like watch a lot of videos, but I did watch Sav's live and she played some interviews and talked about it. And I'm already starting to see the same characteristics that I've been, telling you guys about that are in this case. And again, they use essentially the same like itinerary, maybe that's not the best word, but the same steps, the same characteristics, essentially in everyone. And again, they're not going to have every single one of the characteristics that I talk about all the time, because again, it's going to be, the characteristics are going to be catered to that specific event, because obviously they're all different. But if you do start to see like one characteristic and then you see another, and then you start to see like maybe three, does that necessarily mean that it's one of those events? No, but it's something to think about, and it'll allow you to look at the case in a different perspective and maybe sit back and be like, okay, well, this case is starting to see some of the characteristics that Megan's talked about in the Watts case, so maybe I should start looking out for those other ones, and just at least before I get emotionally involved or too deep into the case or whatever, just try to look at things differently and ask questions. Ask, for instance, like, why is this? Like, just this for an example. Why is this? Okay, let me rephrase myself. Okay, for instance, both the Thayers and Cindy, and I always say her last name wrong, DeRose. I don't know if it's like French DeRosier or if it's DeRosier. Cindy, Shanann's friend, which I couldn't find that interview because they took off of the website, but then I think another channel found it, but that's beside the point. It's just difficult to find now. Both the Thayers and Cindy both gave news interviews the day of that they found out that Shanann and the girls were allegedly been found and they were deceased. And yes, I get it. Everybody deals with death differently. Some people cry, bawl their eyes out. Some people don't shed any tears. But it's still something to keep in the back of your mind. Like most people, I say most people, probably wouldn't even be able to speak if, or function when they just the day of, like the day, keep that in mind. It's the day of. I don't know how many hours in between or since they found out about it, but most people probably wouldn't even be able to function, let alone give a news interview, and make it through the interview without like completely just losing it. I could see like maybe even I don't know, a few days after or something, but the day of, and you'll see that a lot of the times they will be wiping away tears, but there's no tears. Like, and it'll seem forced. And I know this sounds probably like terrible, and I'm probably going to like, oh my God, how dare you accuse them of not, you know, I almost said the F word, of not being sincere in what they're saying. But I mean, look at those things. Like, and think like, how would you? I mean, you wouldn't know exactly how you would, unless it's happened to you. You can try to put yourself in that situation, but I know just by how I am personally, like I would, if I found out that anyone close to me had just like been murdered by um, their husband and murdered my friend and her children, like that day, if the news outlets came to me and asked me to do an interview, I tell them to fuck off. Yeah, I said it. I said the F word. Not the F word I was going to use earlier, or a little bit like a couple minutes ago, but I said, yeah, I'd say fuck off because I just found out that my friend and her two daughters just got murdered by her husband, who showed no signs of um, any violent tendencies or anything. So, do you see what I'm saying? So, again, yes, I do realize and I do think about these kind of things, and I think about all possibilities of not just how I would react, and then I know that other people deal with death differently and whatnot. But you have the Thayers, and then you have Cindy, who both did interviews the day of, and Cindy's got her Thrive patch showing. She couldn't go to the interview without not showing her Thrive patch for her friends, about doing an interview about her friends, alleged deaths and her children. Like, to me, that was just another, Thrive publicity stunt, in my opinion. Um, it's like you can't stop selling your product just like for a few minutes um, during this interview about your close friend who you just found out allegedly just got murdered. So do you see like what I'm getting at? It's just things like that where a lot of people are going to see these people giving these interviews who, although they do appear to be sad and are wiping their face, and they seem upset, like it doesn't mean they actually are. Like, and I know that probably doesn't make sense, but um, a lot of people are not going to look at it in a different perspective. They're just automatically going to think horrific death, this poor sister or this poor family member just lost it, and they have to go on and they have to give this news interview, and they're probably so upset, and I can't believe, I mean, they're so brave for going on here and doing this, like, and saying, and they probably are saying the same thing that I'm saying, and saying I could never do that because I wouldn't be able to keep it together. But how can they keep it together? And like, just, I mean, you're talking about like hours. We're talking about hours since you found out, and like, so without repeating myself, just keep that in mind. Anyways, that's all I ask. But to not get off track, even though I don't remember what track I was on because I just went off track. Um, Again, I will tell you, keep a close eye on that Sharky case. That's all I'm going to say until I can at least start covering it. And there's other ones too, but I don't want to get into all that right now. But I will tell you this: I did not know. I did not know. I had like heard talk of it, and I had my suspicions of some of the cases, but I didn't realize that how many there are out there that are like the Watts case. Like, I had no idea. I mean, and again, why would I question it otherwise? Um, and I mentioned before in another live that I didn't. I didn't question it. I believed every word of the narrative right off the bat because I had no reason to question it, because I didn't see at first one, I didn't have that mindset because I didn't even think that that was possible or that they did that. So it wasn't until I started noticing the characteristics that I've been telling you guys about in this case. that are the same as other cases or events, not cases, but well, they're cases, other events that I am familiar with and I am, knowledgeable in. Um, and so that made me start questioning things and start thinking with a different like outlook on everything, and going, okay, well, now that now that I think about it, like that, what that police officer just did, that doesn't make sense. Or why is everything just like so convenient in this case, and why did they release all this information, the discovery and all the body cam footage and just the amount of information they did, and or why wasn't anybody's personal information involved in the case, why wasn't it redacted. And not only that, but um, minors who were involved in the case, why wasn't their information redacted? um, Stuff like that. So yeah, so I just want you guys to just, if you guys are going to follow that case, keep a close eye out for some of the characteristics, the numerology. I'm already starting to see numerology in that, occultic numerology in that case, um, and not just numerology, but symbolism, occultic symbolism as well. Um, uh, Inconsistencies with a story, and that's just briefly from what I saw on Zab's live stream. So I haven't even like actually like delved into the case all that much, and I'm already starting to see inconsistencies and things that don't add up, as well as um, similarities to this case as well. So that's it. And I don't know why the chat's not moving, but it doesn't matter because I couldn't pay attention to it anyways. I'm gonna have to learn how to rant and like pay attention to the chat at the same time. Hi, Gina B. And anybody else that I didn't say hello to because I was rambling. Yeah, and like Rosemary just said, she said, when you become quote unquote woke, you see everything. And that's totally true. Like once you like know what to look for the most part, they're going to be easy to spot because they may have like changed up their whole like strategy, but for the most part, as far as I've seen, they're still using those same characteristics, the same, because it works. It's working. So why would they switch something up that's working perfectly fine for them? Um, and again, just because one characteristic um, or is in a case doesn't mean necessarily make it one. I gotta watch what I say. Um, but it's once you start seeing another one and another one, then that's when you need to start looking at it with a different perspective. Well, actually, you should pretty much you need to like look at them all of these cases. To be honest with you, with a non-emotional and different perspective, because at this point it's like, and it sucks, but I feel like you need to assume that they're all like this one until, especially, mind you, if they are, one of the characteristics is if they immediately gain like widespread media attention, all of the news outlets are covering it and they're all pushing the same narrative. Nobody's, none of the news outlets are saying anything different, and they're all almost like identical. And if nobody's questioning anything, any of the clear inconsistencies in the narrative, then that's one of the bigger red flags. I mean, they're all huge, but um, it's one of those red flags to look out for, because the mainstream media has a huge part in all of these events, because they are the ones who are going to be able to push that narrative and get that narrative out to as many people as possible and as quickly as possible. Um, and they all work for the same people. So that's why there's so much, fake news and whatever, because they're all there to push an agenda. They're only there to push an agenda and to push a narrative. But yes, as I said, what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, so once, like Rosemary said, not me. Rosemary said that once you're woke, you see everything. So until they do start to change it, which again I don't think they will, because it's been working. It works for them. Once you are aware of these characteristics that I've been trying to show you guys and know what to look for, like Rosemary said, they are pretty easy to spot. And if they aren't as easy to spot, they'll at least stand out to you, because you'll know what you're looking for. If that makes sense. Hey, Crime and Fitness. Hey, Love is Unique. Love is Unique. I like how you spelled that. Oh, is the Sharky case? I think I did hear that. Love is Unique says, did the Sharky case happen in Colorado? Is that true? Does anybody know? I think I did hear that. Well, there's another clue. Colorado. Hey, B. Hey, B. Hey, Boo. That's what it reminds me of. Okay, now I'm getting goofy. Hey, Jenny May. I don't know if I said hi to you either. If I did already, I'm sorry. I just don't. I like to say hello to everyone that comes in. Like if I had like 500 people on my chat, that would be impossible. But since I don't, I feel like I don't have an excuse not to. Oh, thank you, Crime and Fitness. I haven't seen you been doing any lives. I don't. Am I not getting notifications for some reason? I don't. Or are you just taking a hiatus? Crystal Clear says, "What's in the water in Colorado?" I know, right? It's like it's a hot spot for these, I tell you. And something else, I probably shouldn't bring this up now, but I'd like to talk about this on DLive. But I guess I have to kind of like say already, because I hate when people say, "Oh, I want to tell you something," but then I'm not going to. But this is actually like further, like, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, even though we are 2 years into this. But there's like other clues that they leave, not just the ones that I've mentioned, like the numerology. And this Watts case is insane, because I keep coming across and finding more and more every day, and it's insane, the um the amount of, I don't know the word I'm looking for, They put a lot of work into this one, guys. Let's just say that. Uh, but they will actually, because I'm kind of nervous to even just say this, even though they are everyday common words, they will tell us where, or like like the um like the two P words I said earlier, and then I regretted saying, and I wanted someone to go back and bleep them out. Um, they put a lot. They'll do that way, but then they will also leave clues for the next location that the next event will um, take place in. So, and I will go over those examples on DLive. I can't do those here um, to show you guys again. Yeah, so like a couple examples um, of how they did it. So it's kind of like a game. It's like a fun game that they create for us, so we can find their clues and their breadcrumbs, and it's fun for them. But we don't ever win anything for finding the clues. At least I haven't, anyways, and I found quite a bit of them. So um, and I joke about it, but it should actually, and it's not funny at the same time, because it should actually infuriate um, anyone, because again, they are literally mocking us by doing this. And there's other reasons for it, but that's essentially what they're doing, because they are no longer, like, they're not trying to hide it. They're not hiding it at all. I mean, they're all right in front of our faces. But again, you have to know that you have to know what to look for. And again, like Rosemary said, once you know, they're going to be so blatantly obvious that you're going to be like, holy shit, like, Megan was right. Like, and I don't mean to toot my own horn or anything, but like, literally, you guys, like, if you don't have to, like, I don't expect you guys to just believe everything I'm saying with just, and I don't, because again, that's like in my whole motto, just think for yourself, don't believe anyone. But take the information that I'm giving you guys and use that, like, try them out on another case that where there's a bunch of inconsistencies in the narrative, um, and discrepancies and more questions than answers. Like, just try them out on another case, and then if you don't see any of them, then maybe it isn't one. But if you do, then you'll start to see like what I'm talking about. I promise you. That I can promise you. Because if things don't add up and things don't make sense, there's probably a reason for it. Like, there's absolutely no reason, speaking of reasons, why, with the amount of information released in this case, and I don't ever say with the ton or give it some sort of like saying that so much information, but for any other case, there was a ton of information released compared to the other ones. So, with the amount of information they did release, why is there so many unanswered questions? Why are we still 2 years later trying to figure out the answers to all these inconsistencies and discrepancies in this narrative, when it should be open and shut, with as transparent as they're saying they're they are, or that they were being. Obviously not, because we're still trying to figure shit out. And it shouldn't be like that. Like there's less unanswered questions in other cases where they didn't release all the information that they did. There might be like, like some autopsy photos, or there might be the all the news stories that the mainstream media stories you read on the case, and then um, and people that have been talking about these cases for years, like a lot of these murder cases, but those are ones where they didn't release like almost the entire like I'm all like I sound like Kessinger. They didn't release the entire discovery and the body cam footage and the interviews, and you might get an interrogation interview of the suspect, or the one that pled guilty or went to trial. But those have less unanswered questions than than this one where we got all this information. Like that doesn't it doesn't make sense. And so that's again, if it doesn't make sense, then question it. Like just it sucks nowadays, but you have to question everything. You have to assume it's false and prove it otherwise if you can. Or let them prove that it's not false. That it's not false. I just did like a double negative. Or hi Elma. How's your pups? Maybe I know you'll never sound like Kessinger. I'm starting to. My voice is getting all raspy. I'm turning into her. No. Um, hi Marlene. Maybe that's why Kessinger said like so much, because she had to watch what she says like I do. And then she says all of her sentences like she's asking a question. Well, yeah, John, right? John said, avoid every question, then you'll sound like her. Well, I actually kind of have to do avoid questions because, well, my last live stream, I was like, nobody ever asked me questions. And, I'm like pouting and moaning that nobody asked, hardly asked me any questions about like my theory. And then, you know, some people in the chat start asking questions. And the first one that I come across, I read it and then I can't answer it because I can't do it because it's in the guidelines, and I will um, be penalized. penalized. I'll be penalized for it. So I don't know. It was just kind of funny. It's frustrating, but it's funny because I was like, nobody ever answered. Asked me questions. Like arms crossed. But I felt bad afterwards because I made a big old huff about it, and then I couldn't answer the questions because I can't. Like I just again, there's no way around it. I mean, as you guys can tell, I'm trying to make this stream not waste time with this stream. Trying to speak in code, but I'm doing my best. So, like, B just asked, do you think that NK and her friend Jim helped Chris Watts with the murder? I heard that theory a lot. I can answer the first part of your question for you, but I can't really answer the Well, I guess there's only one question to your question. There's only one question in your question. But I can answer it, but then I can't go into like details about it. So it's either like yes or no, unfortunately. So I can't, yeah, I can't go into further detail about it. But to answer your question, I want to, well, no, no, I don't think that Kessinger or Jim helped Chris Watts with the murder. And there's more that I'd like to go into detail about that and explain my no, but I can't. Hey, Jill, it's me. I'm talking. It's me, Megan J. Hey, Spacebound. And again, I wish I could just answer people's questions, or answer your guys' questions, but I just, I hope you guys understand that. And I know it doesn't, I keep saying this, but some new people do come in sometimes, and I don't want them to think I'm some crazy person, like yapping about nothing and speaking in tongue, um, which is essentially what I'm doing. But Charlene asked, "Do you believe NK was in his home or with Chris during the early morning murders?" No, but I can't go into detail or explain my answer because there's more to it than just yes and no, obviously. But um, Kaden Shay, hello. She says, "I am new to your channel, but the American Horror Story shown in the beginning on Nate's TV was extremely eerie." Yeah, I agree. Um, that one I can answer, even though that wasn't a question, it was just a statement. But if you are new here, that American Horror Story, and although again I do believe in paranormal and um, the paranormal and that people do have extra sensory abilities. However, in the case, in this case, the American Horror Story clip or teaser coming on Nate's TV was not anything paranormal um, or coincidental or um, anything like that. It was with 100% put there on purpose for all of us to see because that's what they want. They wanted what I did. They wanted people who saw it that noticed that it mirrored the case exactly, pretty much. That the explosion and the baby, the fetus in the hourglass, and um, the woman in the shallow grave in her nightgown. The Which one am I missing here? The skull that comes out of there that has oil all over it. Chris Watts worked in the oil field. Like, so they wanted us to be intrigued by that, and they wanted us to go watch the show so that they could uh, carry out their which I can't say, but Jenny May just said it. It's not Jenna. Jenny May just said it in the chat for me. Thank you. Carry out their agenda, um, and subconsciously condition us for whatever they're trying to condition us for. So they wanted us to go and watch the show and either, like I just said, subconsciously do it, or so that we find their little breadcrumbs, like I did. And like I mentioned earlier, they're not hiding it, you guys. They're putting it in front of our faces, all of it, and it's not just the Watts case. It's everywhere. It's all different like events, but they're not hiding it, and they don't care. They don't care. They either want us to find it or find them and other little breadcrumbs in their clues, or if we do, they don't care, or both. Oh, bye, Crystal Clear. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I'm gonna end this soon because I'm gonna stay under 2 hours. I'm like quick live, and I end up ranting for 2 hours. Well, the first hour was just small talk, but um, so yeah, so they don't care. They are legally allowed, although they were doing this before. Hey, Sarah D. Although they were doing this before the Smith-Mundt Act of 2012 was passed, now they can, or since that was passed, now they can legally lie to us without having any repercussions for it or without having to answer for any of it. So that's why in this case, that's why they can put out this information with the discovery and have all the inconsistencies in it and have all the discrepancies in it and not have to legally answer to any of them or for any of them. So they don't have to answer for why they didn't properly investigate Kessinger. They don't have to. I mean, I probably shouldn't even start the inconsistencies because there's so many of them, and you guys know all the inconsistencies and discrepancies in this case. And I mean, we can talk about it forever, but they're never going to answer or give us answers for the questions that they've left in this case or for any of their lack of investigating. But as long as people keep believing it and people are giving this case attention, they're going to keep spewing out these lies. They're, whether it be someone saying that they know Chris or that they are friends with the Watts or they leak prison phone calls, and I say quote unquote prison phone call, like, or if it's a forensic detective coming out and talking about and going from channel to channel, which I was going to discuss more on DLive, but go to DLive, guys. So just because or no, not just because, but if they keep putting out, they're going to keep putting out this information as long as we keep believing it. And if we keep, feeding the monsters, I like to say, um, they're going to keep doing it. And it's past 2 years now, and I'm actually really surprised that they've continued with it this long because normally, like in the past, once they like push the narrative and they accomplish their agenda, they or maybe that's why they're still doing it. Actually, now I probably just answered my own question, but um, they're going to keep doing it as long as we believe it. And if that's what they're still doing, if they're still trying to push their agenda, they're going to keep doing it until they get it, until it's accomplished, because they're not going to do all of this to not complete that agenda. Or not be successful in their agenda. So, I mean, obviously that's not going to happen. Everyone's not going to just stop following this case tomorrow. I mean, if everybody did, then well, they don't lose because they've gained a lot already from all of it, but if everyone stopped following this case and moved on and said, okay, like, it's over 2 years now, we're just not going to get the answers. It's horrific, what the narrative says, but let's all move on. If everybody like moved on, then they can't push their agenda anymore, and they can't keep coming out with information all the time, like new leaked information. I mean, trying to watch my words here, but since we know that's not going to happen, they're just going to keep doing it as long as people believe it. So take that as you will, but and Joby, yes, I do believe that they're trying to demonize the white male. Yes, they they want everyone to be so scared that if, and I've mentioned this before, but, and sorry if I sound like a broken record for those of you who've heard me say this a million times, but I'll keep saying it as long as it takes. So they want people to think with their emotions. They don't want them to think logically, even if something sounds like impossible, like fitting, toddlers into 8-inch holes. It doesn't sound realistic or plausible, but people believe it. A lot of people believed it, that he did it without ever even like questioning it. So they want people to just think with their emotions and not think logically. Um, and they want, it's aimed at mostly, for this case, women and children, to think that if someone like Chris Watts, who, I mean, some people might not agree or whatever, but some people do think that he's a good looking man, middle class, great father, wonderful husband, didn't show any previous signs of violence. Everybody that knew him, friends, family, coworkers, had nothing bad to say about him, said that he's just an all around good guy, um, who can, so if someone like that can just all of a sudden one day, drop of the hat, murder his entire family with his bare hands for allegedly a woman that he only knew for a couple of months, if that, that's like pushing it, then what is stopping their significant other or their husband, who also has all the same characteristics, from doing it to them? They want people to always like constantly to be in fear and to trust no one but the government and law enforcement. They want people to be on edge all the time. They don't, they the best way to control people is with fear. Jenny May says it's actually even less than 8 inches. Tammy made sure to comment about it and they settled it in the interview, so no more questions about it. Yeah, exactly. And it is actually smaller than 8 inches because you have that small, it's very, very small, the lip on the inside of the inlet, which is millimeters, is still going to affect like trying to fit an object that is obviously not the same. It's like, when you're a kid trying to fit, um, when you're learning, functionality and how to, shapes, trying to put the square block into the round hole. Like it's just, it's similar concept. So, it would have been, it's not impossible, but it's not likely. So I did go over 2 hours and 1 minute. I appreciate everyone being here, and I really apologize again. I know I shouldn't keep apologizing because people like give me a hard time about that, but I just, I appreciate you guys all being here, and I appreciate your support and just being patient with me as while I try to figure out how I'm gonna do all this, because it's not easy. And that's another thing. So why, before I go real quick, why can other creators talk about accomplices and um, essentially accuse people of having their hand in murder, but and other things, but I can't say my theory specifically without having repercussions. So keep that in mind as well if you can, because it's rather telling, in my opinion. So try to keep that in mind. Like, why am I limited to what I can say, but accusing someone else of murder or having a hand in murder is not hate speech or against community guidelines? So just keep that in mind, and thank you all for being here and being patient with me and understanding. And I will see you guys later. Stay safe.